Okay, so we are going to do half of 16.2, talking about arc length and radian measure. The formula for measuring arc length is going to be found through looking at this problem. We have a measure of the arc. Whatever we talked about previously is how many degrees this arc is, and this arc is related to the central angle. Both of those are going to be 60 degrees, but we want to talk about how long that distance is now related to the radius. So we know that the circumference is equal to 2 pi r. And in this case, our circumference is going to be using a radius of 9. So our circumference is 2 pi times 9, or our circumference is 18 pi. Now, we only want to look at this portion A to B. And if we want to think about how much out of an entire circle that is going to be 60 out of 360. And we could take 60 and divide it by 360. They're both divisible by 10, which is 6 over 36. And they're also both divisible by 6, which is 1 over 6. So we know that this portion of our circle is 1/6 of the circle. So all we need to do is take 1/6 of 18 pi. So 1/6 times 18 pi. 18 is divisible by 6. That gives us 3 pi. And 3 pi can be rounded. So we'll do 3 pi. I don't know if they use 3.14 in this. We're going to estimate that as 9.42 units of centimeters. So that is the example that we have. But let's look at what we did. We took the circumference and we multiplied it by what the proportion was. So which means that you could just take your proportion, whatever your proportion is, we'll say x over 360, and we're just going to multiply that by our circumference. This is 2 pi r. And that's basically, and x can be our degrees. I think they put m or something, but let's look at the formula. Yeah, I say m degrees instead here. So here it is. You take your m, which is your measure in degrees, your how many degrees this is, divide it by 360, because that's your entire circle, and you multiply it by the circumference. This can be simplified, actually. So this formula tells you exactly where it comes from, but we can simplify that as m 2 and 360 over 180, so m over 180 times pi times radius. Either of those will be fine. I'm probably just going to keep it as m over 360 because at least we can tell where it comes from. So let's go ahead and look at our example here. It says on a clock face the minute hand is 10 inches long, so I'm going to put 10 inches here. To the nearest tenth of an inch, how far does the tip of the minute hand travel as the time progresses from 12 to 12:15? So we are going to go from here to here. So we want to find out how much distance that is, given that our radius is 10. So how many degrees is that? Well, that is a 90-degree angle. And we're going to do 90 over 360 times 2 pi times our radius, which is 10. So we can do 20 times, well, we'll go like that. Or we'll do 360 divided by 90 is 1/4. So we have 1/4 times 20 times pi. This is going to be 5 pi. 5 times pi is 15.7, what do we have, inches? Inches. We'll use the little approximate symbol instead. All right, let's do another example. It says here the minute hand of a clock is 6 inches long. So you always want to draw your examples here. We have a minute hand which is 6 inches long. We want to go from 12 to 12:30. Okay, so this is 6 inches long, and we want to go all the way to 12:30. So that means we're measuring this distance. So how many degrees is that? That's right, it's 180. So we'll do 180 over 360 times 2 pi times 6. So this is 1/2 times 2 pi times 6. This is 6 pi, which is approximately 18.84 what is it? What, 1/10 of an inch? What do you, 1/10 of an inch? 8 inches. Okay, so why don't you go ahead and do number 3. Pause. All right, so let's do number 3 here. We have a clock. The minute hand is 8 inches long. We are going to 12 to 8:45, or 12:45, I'm sorry. So that's going to be 360 minus 90 is 270. So we're going 270 degrees over 360 times 2 pi times 8. So they're both divisible by 9. That's going to be 3 over 4. Oh, 3/4, of course. Times 16 pi. That's 2 times 8. 16 over 4, that's going to be 4. So this is going to be 3 times 4 pi. So this is 12 pi. And 12 pi is approximately 30, what do we say, 1/10 of an inch? Yeah, 37.7 inches. And that's it. We're going to do the second half of this section tomorrow, but your assignment is just going to be 5 through 9. And I will see you later on.